Welcome to the 122nd edition of Spooky Reviews from Spooky Ventures. This time around I'm going to be talking about a double Blu-ray special edition of a William Shatner movie called Impulse. Now, this movie was pretty much lost for a while, and the presentation of it here comes with a disclaimer that they have created the disc using what they could find of the movie and that it will not be a perfect transfer. Apparently, many consider this to be William Shatner's worst film. He was quoted as saying that he doesn't remember why he did the movie, but that he must have really needed the money. I suppose that's a good reason to do a movie, really. The thing is, this is definitely not a great movie, but it's also not as bad as all that might make you think it would be. Shatner plays a twisted serial killer con man. The opening scene, which is a prequel, shows what turned him into the person he is. That black and white introduction to the movie focuses on his character as a child killing a man who was abusing his mother. The movie has been criticized for being things like sleazy and without redeeming qualities. For its time period, that might be true. It also might have been a valid criticism at the time. But in an era of more extreme horror, I don't really see that being an issue anymore. Sure, Shatner's character is sleazy. While we can see what made him the person he is, that person is pretty much lacking any kind of characteristics that make him likable or sympathetic. He is a monster. His character, Matt Stone, makes his living conning people out of money and ripping off wealthy widows. He also leaves a trail of dead bodies wherever he goes. There are some pretty brutal kills in the movie, too. Given that this film was released in 1974, they had to have been even more shocking then. The movie has some slow parts, but overall it works pretty well. As I said, this is not a perfect film by any means, but I can't understand all the hate it gets. There are far worse movies that get more favorable reviews. This specific packaging of the movie is so cool. And actually, I'll show you a little bit of that right here. The outer box itself has upraised lettering and is classy in itself. And there's a nice booklet in here and a postcard featuring a portrait of Shatner as Matt Stone. There are 2 Blu-ray discs here, and they're just packed with bonus materials. Here's sort of the inside. There are 2 bonus films from the director of this film, William Grief. I have to admit that neither of those movies really held much interest for me. Those are just 2 of the things here, though. Others include interviews, an alternate French soundtrack, and much more. If you want to check out all the bonuses, you're in for hours and hours of viewing. All in all, I think this is a worthwhile release of a movie that gets some unfair criticism, along with some that's fair. It's definitely worth watching, and I'd say it's worth multiple viewings. It's also a worthy addition to a movie collection, and a Shatner collection from my way of looking at it. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.